Hello, this is Workbench, episode number 9. I'm Seth Werkheiser, along with Bill Meese, two people who work in music and love technology, sharing our nerdy knowledge to help make your work easier and more manageable. Hello, Bill.
What's up, man? How's it going?
Dude, we got some fun stuff we're talking about in this episode.
Yeah, very important stuff.
Yes.
Stuff that if you mess it up, or if you're off your game, or if you're not paying attention to this at all, it could be costing you some dollars. Exactly,
and especially as we're nearing April 15th, this kind of stuff is incredibly relevant and important. Don't want to be in 2015. You don't want to be leaving money on the table. That's right. For sure.
And speaking of money, this show is about accepting payments online and just getting paid online in general. We are hip deep in the era of online work and freelancing, and just having
lots of stuff on the side.
Yeah, a lot of side hustles. So if you're doing any of that, you're going to want to know how to get paid and how to get paid easily. So we're going to go into a few things on this episode that should make that a lot easier for you.
Right, and it's sometimes easy to forget that some of the things that we're going to mention on this show, not everybody has heard of.
Right.
And that's why we're going over this kind of stuff, this top-level kind of stuff. So,
well, cool. So we'll start it off with one of the most obvious and one of the most famous, and that is PayPal. Now, PayPal can probably warrant its own show, but we're not going to spend that much time on one thing on the during this episode. But we're bringing it up first because it is the most popular.
Yes.
Now, for anyone who hasn't used it at all, starting bare bones, it's an online payment system that enables you to send and receive money over the web, and now on mobile, send invoices, keep very basic bookkeeping for your small business or your freelance business, whatever. And yeah, we'll start there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of us probably got started with PayPal back in the day because of eBay.
Yeah.
Selling stuff on eBay, it was easier to get paid using PayPal.
Right. That's probably when I signed up and got mine.
Yep.
But PayPal is great because you not only can transfer money for goods and services, but you can also transfer money between two people, friends and family. And I word it that way because that's the two categories they break down their payments into, whether it's friends and family or business and goods and services, e-commerce.
Yep.
And one they charge a fee, and one they do not. So
yes,
I'm a big fan of the not charging fee
the
option.
No fee part. Yeah, and also too, you could tie your PayPal account to a bank account. So if you're getting paid for services that are online, you can easily transfer the money. It takes a couple days, but it goes into your directly into your checking account.
Right, which is what I do, and which is what I've done for a long time.
Yep.
And it costs money. They take their fee, which comes out on your end, the receiving end, when you do get paid for goods and services. And that adds up. So, while a lot of people might blindly dive into using PayPal, definitely check the numbers. See if it's a service that you want to pay for.
Yeah, definitely a thing I've encountered online is like selling something for $1 online using PayPal. Bad idea, because PayPal takes. I don't know the exact figure or whatever, but after the PayPal fees, you're left with hardly anything. So,
have you sold something for $1?
Back in the day, I have. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't do that anymore. Yeah, well, back in the day when, a small band or something like that, yeah, totally buy our sticker for $1. That's dumb. You don't make any money that way. You got to sell 5 stickers for $5. That's the way you do it.
I was going to ask you what you sold for $1.
Yeah. No, it was probably sticker pins or something back in the day. So,
and the other big new feature for PayPal is PayPal Here, which is a little triangle dongle that fits into the headphone jack on your phone and enables you to take credit card transactions, right on your phone or your tablet. And it's of the options that are out there, it's a little pricey. It's 3% of the amount of the transaction plus 30 cents each transaction. But if you're an avid PayPal user and use it across the board in your small business, then you can just mark that as a fixed cost.
Yep, cost of doing business. The ability to be anywhere and swipe someone's card for something, that's pretty remarkable. So
I know plenty of people that use this, and I don't hear, the only complaint I hear about is having to pay for it, which I kind of take with a grain of salt, because
why isn't everything online free?
Exactly. It's like, well, it's you're getting a pretty awesome feature there that enables you to make sales that you might not normally would have been able to make. So
totally
pay up.
Absolutely. Yep.
And so that's kind of the broad stroke basics of PayPal. If you're interested in checking it out, it's paypal.com. They got a nifty HTML5 website going on these days. I've just switched over my entire invoicing system to PayPal.
Wow.
Because they offer invoicing systems for free, as far as I'm concerned anyway.
Yeah.
It's not the most beautiful looking interface.
Sure.
But it works. And I did this because the majority of my freelance clients were all paying with PayPal, so
yeah,
I figured this would just make it easier. We can get
totally.
into why I did, why that's important a little later. But what's the next one?
Another one. A lot of people, you might be seeing this around, but it's Square, and that's the little dongle you see on iPhones or iPads at like cool coffee shops and stuff like that allow you to swipe a credit card, and you can accept payment right through that. And that payment, I think, sits in an account for a day or two and then goes into your bank account.
Right, yeah. It's like the internet wasteland escrow.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Jack Dorsey from Twitter,
yes,
or formerly of Twitter, I don't know if he's still there.
I think he's on the board or something, yeah.
This is his company, and it has turned into quite a powerhouse in a very short amount of time. And if you think about it, PayPal's been around for what? 15, 20 years?
2004 or something like that? 5?
Yeah. So, I find 10 years?
Something like that, yeah.
Square's been around, I would say, 3 to 5 years maybe?
Mm-hmm.
So, they've come a long way in a short amount of time.
Square's credit card reader came before PayPal's.
It did, and I would argue that PayPal probably pushed the gas on that the development to catch up.
Yeah, totally.
And if you're, I see a lot of people using this at like farmers markets.
Yep.
A lot of bands use it on tour now, which is awesome because back when I was touring, I remember using credit card slips, the carbon copy slips, in the actual credit card swipe machine, or not even the swipe machine. It was I don't even know what the hell they called it. The ones where you put the card in, you put the paper on it, and click.
Ancient technology now.
And then I remember at the end of the month, we used to mail all of them in, and get paid that way. It used to take weeks to get paid. And anyway, Square solves that problem.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
If you're in a band or you're in a situation where you're selling things, anywhere.
Yep.
This is a great opportunity for you to make some sales that you might not normally have made, and they charge 2.75% per transaction.
Yeah.
There's no monthly or yearly contract fees. The money hits your deposit within 4 to 5 business days, and it's available on iPad, iPhone, Android, smartphones, and tablets.
It ties right into your bank account.
Yep, and both the PayPal here and Square swipe thing, they're free. All you got to do is sign up yourself for an account, and they'll send you one of these in the mail. Yeah,
totally. Yeah, the cost is just the processing fees, which, like I said, if you charge $1, you're going to get killed, but, if you're selling stuff for $10, $15, $50, whatever, cost of doing business. So.
Right. Now, there's another one on here that I've never heard of, but in doing some quick research for this episode, I found it. Mm-hmm. It's called PhoneSwipe.
Okay.
The only thing I know about it is what's in front of me now, and they apparently charge 2.69% per transaction,
less than the other guys,
which is less than PayPal's 3% plus 30 cents per transaction.
Yeah.
Less than Square's 2.75%, and they're going with 2.69. And your money is automatically deposited into your bank account the next business day. And it's it's available on iPad, iPhone, Android, smartphones, and tablets, and BlackBerry.
Wow, BlackBerry! My goodness.
So, of course, the image I'm looking at, I'm assuming, is made by PhoneSwipe, so it might be a little bit biased.
Sure,
but check it out. Maybe it's something that can help your business.
Yeah, totally.
Regardless, these are three options that you can use to get paid on the fly. Now, I've used my own Square reader between friends and family.
Yes.
It's like, hey man, you owe me $50. Yeah, swipe, done.
Right.
Now, of course, I'm going to have to pay the 2.75 transaction fee on that, but
again, it's the convenience, though.
Yeah, and when you're dealing with family and friends who don't always pay you back,
right?
I'll pay 2.75% on that
to get that money
to get that $50 right now.
There's also Square also has Square Cash,
mm-hmm.
which is it's an interesting thing. I've used it a couple times, but it's powered through email. And you kind of CC Square in your email to send money between debit cards. It works pretty well.
I haven't used this that much.
Yeah, I've used it a few times. Used it for a couple bucks too, and it works really well.
Cool. So maybe after we're done recording, you can send me $10 and just to make sure it works.
Absolutely, yes. And I would urge our listeners to do the same for us.
Awesome. It's I use that once or twice, and when someone, hey, we're going here, we bought tickets, your share is 45 and change.
Right.
You can use Square Cash to send that money over. Is there any fees associated with that?
I don't think there is. No. I think it's fee free, but I think that's Square's way of just trying to get billions of people to use their service.
Right.
Which is smart. So.
Right. And enabling you to give me money for free is a great way to do that.
And we're talking about it right now. It's free marketing.
So those are the between PayPal and Square, those are the two giant gorillas in the game.
Yes.
And then of course PhoneSwipe. If anyone uses that, please let me know. Please let me know if you like it. If you don't like it, let us know because I'm really curious. I use Square and PayPal, so
yep, me too.
I don't have enough room for another service in my life when it comes to that.
Especially not for a couple percentage points. I'm not ready to move everything over for something like that.
No, it's not going to turn my business around by getting 0.11%, whatever it is.
No, not at all.
But part of this, getting paid online, is sending invoices.
Yes.
And the old way we used to do it is you make an invoice in WordPerfect or Word, and you print it out, you stick it in an envelope, you mail it to whoever owes you money, and you hope for the best.
Yeah. And wait 90, 120 days.
Right. Yeah. Net 6 months. And if it doesn't come in within 14 days or 21 days, you can send a phone call, email, hey, where's my money? Blah blah blah.
Right.
You don't have to do that anymore. There are a lot of services out there that offer not only invoicing but time tracking, which is something that freelancers use, specifically if they're paid by the hour. Mm-hmm. It's something where you click, you have multiple rows of projects in front of you, and if you're working on a specific project, you basically click a timer, which is kind of like a chess timer, in a way, and it will track the time that you spent on that specific project. When you're done doing whatever it is you're doing, you stop the timer and move on, and you do that for a week, and at the end of the week you have your accurate number of hours and minutes that you worked on each project, and you can bill accordingly.
Yep.
And the first one that is probably the best for that is called Harvest, and I'll let you talk about it.
Yeah, Harvest is amazing. I started using them a while back for started out just to send invoices. You go in there, you set up some clients, you set up all this stuff. You set up with that you can either do PayPal or Stripe. Stripe feeds into your bank account directly. Then as you make your invoice, then you email it to someone, and it gives them the ability to pay you online through PayPal, which is amazing because, like as Bill said, a handful of clients online will want to pay through PayPal. And so giving them that online option, you send it and you can get paid pretty quick, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, totally. I used Harvest for a long time, and I liked it. Specifically when I was doing time-tracked freelance work, it was awesome. The biggest thing that I liked about it was the fact that you can send detailed time-tracking reports to your clients.
Yeah.
And the clients that I was working with thought that was the greatest thing on earth because...
Oh, that's cool.
Because you can send them a PDF of exactly how many hours and minutes you worked on each project.
Yeah.
And to them, as a business owner, that's just reassuring them that they're getting exactly what they're paying for. And because that's the worst when you're paying freelance, and you're, unless you're on like a retainer or a flat project fee or something,
right.
How do you know what the other guy's doing? And this is a really easy way to solve that problem.
Yep.
So if you're a freelancer and you do hourly work, this is a no-brainer. It's called getharvest.com.
Yeah. And even if you just need to send an invoice, I highly recommend it. It's what I use for it all the time.
Yeah, I was using that just for sending invoices for a while, but then I think I was on the $12 a month payment plan.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? PayPal does that for free, so
it's all built in. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yep.
And one of the things I like about Harvest is that if you send an invoice and you set your when it's due, you can set up automatic follow-ups to where if so-and-so hasn't paid their invoice in a month, let's say, Harvest will send them a reminder, and it's friendly. You can set the parameters of what it says verbatim and make it as friendly or not friendly as you want.
Sure.
But I have used that a couple of times. I think I had it set up as a fail-safe where if someone hadn't paid in like 90 days or something, it would send a reminder. And I think it only triggered off a few times, but each time it did, they paid pretty quickly, so it works.
And hey, being able to do something like that is something you don't have to put on your calendar and remember it later on.
One less thing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's cool.
And there's a lot of these kind of services.
Yeah. What's this next one here? BillGrid?
BillGrid. I started using this because I needed to use something different than Harvest for a client.
Okay.
And this was pretty similar. All the features we just mentioned that Harvest, time tracking, invoicing, follow-ups, enabling to connect your PayPal accounts. BillGrid does the same thing.
Okay.
The cost is a little bit different. I think it's a little bit cheaper, but it does the same thing. So if you want a different option that maybe is a little less robust than Harvest, BillGrid is a good option. BillGrid.com.
Cool.
And both Harvest and BillGrid, you can use these as your books, like your small business accounting books.
Yeah.
Because if all the money's coming in and out of this one system, then it has everything it needs to, make sure all your ins and outs are kept up to date.
Right, totally. And then the big one, speaking of, keeping all your business stuff in order, is the next one we're going to talk about, Freshbooks, right?
Yeah, I've never used them, but they sponsor every podcast I listen to.
Right.
So I figured I would at least mention them here. Now, from what I've gathered, it looks like this is a little bit more involved than Harvest and BillGrid.
Right.
As far as keeping your books up to date with your small business. And that's a whole separate show on its own, so I don't want to go too far into it.
Yeah,
but,
from what I've seen, it's giant.
Yeah. It seems to me it's a step between Harvest and BillGrid and something like Quicken.
Okay.
So, where Quicken and those kind of programs are, the big dogs in accounting for your businesses. This is somewhere in between, and it's priced accordingly. It's not as expensive as Quicken, and it looks really user friendly. And you can check that out at freshbooks.com.
Yep. Yeah, all these links will be in our show notes too. So, and definitely too, in researching some of the stuff with Square also has their own invoice, just like PayPal, just like Harvest has a service that you can use them to send your invoices with. Yeah,
I actually just checked this out tonight, and I don't know if I need to use it because
exactly,
it'll take a lot. It's hard to beat free, man.
Well, not only that, but exactly to your point, there's a lot of clients out there that do have PayPal accounts, and it's super easy for them to pay with PayPal. And like, for instance, with Square here, if you send an invoice with that and you want to get paid online, they have to use their credit card. And
right.
Some people are okay with paying via PayPal. So,
and a large point of this episode is to, lay out all the options that you have. Because what you want at the end of the day is to be able to accept all of them.
Sure.
If a client wants to pay with a credit card, you should be set up to be able to do that. I was working with someone not so long ago for some artwork, and great artist. I love working with the guy, but I went to pay the bill, and I said, "What's your can I pay through PayPal?" And he said, "No, I'm not set up with that." And I'm like,
wow.
Well, what are you set up with? He goes, "Oh, just write me a check." And I'm sitting here with money in my PayPal account,
right,
set aside to pay for what I was just having made,
right.
And I was like, you know what, this sucks.
Yeah, the whole check thing. What is that?
So I spent a little bit of time and tried to get him to sign up for PayPal, which shouldn't be too hard to do in 2015, but it really was. And I ended up writing the check, but what I had to do in the back end was transfer PayPal money into my checking account, write the check, blah blah blah.
Yep.
It was instead of saving a step, it was 4 extra steps for me.
Right. And meanwhile, on his end, if that person did set up a PayPal account, they can just simply accept payments a lot quicker down the road.
Yeah. I almost wanted to take him aside and be like, dude, if you accept PayPal, you'd be more attractive to more clients, but I didn't want to go there.
Of course, nope. No, but and to your point too, these are all options. These are all things to look at. Whatever might work for you, the people listening. This is all stuff to take a look at. This is top level stuff, and for sure, your results are going to vary. But from what Bill and I have done over the years, these are definitely the things that we've been toying with. So
yeah, and they all work. These are all great options. And
they certainly do.
One thing I want to point out about PayPal is that you can, like you said, connect it to your bank account. Mm-hmm. But something you pointed out to me, and something I haven't tried yet, was that you can get a PayPal issued debit card. And
my goodness, yes.
You have some experience with that, right?
Oh, yeah. Yes. I've been using it for years. Because, one of the things with the PayPal card is like, okay, all that money's in there. Now I have to, transfer it to my bank account. Wait a couple days for that to happen. Then I can take the money out. With a PayPal debit card, the money's in there. You could pay for your burrito at Chipotle with your PayPal card.
With an invoice that you had paid that morning.
Yeah. I mean, there's been days where, yes, I see on my iPhone, I'm out and about and, payment received, a PayPal notification, your invoice has been paid.
Which I'll point out, that is the best notification to get on a phone, by the way.
That when you get a notification like that, you're like, yes, extra a guacamole, please. And I'll take a extra large drink. Thank you.
Yeah. Supersize that fry.
No, you're absolutely right. It's the best notification to get on your iOS device, yes. But yeah, the debit card, I mean, and you can use that too. There's services out there that you pay for online. I did this, like something with, say, Rdio or a streaming music service or there's that. At times, there's some of those that don't accept PayPal. But if you have a debit card, you can just use that.
Yeah.
So,
and I'd like to publicly call out Fancy Hands for not accepting PayPal because they're one of my favorite services to use, and we'll go into it on another episode. But I want to be able to tweet at them so that they can listen to me say, start accepting PayPal, please, and thank you.
Yeah, and really, there's something to be said for. I mean, there's stuff that if an online place accepts PayPal, that means I don't have to reach for my wallet to type in my numbers and this and that. If say Bandcamp or whatever accepts PayPal, great, I can just type in my PayPal password and buy an album.
Yeah, that's a whole another point that we haven't even brought up is security. And
yes.
When you're connecting your bank account, that's one thing. But when you're using something like the debit card, the limit to your risk, extends as far as that card and that account with whatever money's in it, which puts a little bit of a buffer, a little bit of distance between, your personal data and money and the evil people on the web.
Right. But for sure, and also too, I'll point out that I think with any business you're going to find horror stories and stuff like that. But probably, if you mention PayPal to a couple people will have some horror stories.
Oh yeah, that goes without saying.
Yeah, again, I mean they're one of the oldest and they've been around forever and this and that and yeah, when dealing with money, yeah, some crappy stuff can happen. So, just things to be aware of.
Awesome.
Yep.
What do you say we push this episode down the hill?
I like that idea. That's our show. You can visit us at workbenchpodcast.com. We're going to have links to everything we talked about here and maybe some additional stuff that we remember between now and when we publish this.
And if you have subscribed on iTunes, give us a review because that really helps. And if you haven't subscribed on iTunes, take 2 seconds and go do that because that also helps.
Yes. And if you have questions, if you have comments, you can find either Bill or I on Twitter. If you're listening to this, you probably know both of us on Twitter. Or you can find the links to our Twitter on workbenchpodcast.com. Or you can email us, hello@workbenchpodcast.com.
Yeah, and like we said, if you use any of these services that we've mentioned and have any kind of experience, reach out. I want to hear about it.
Yeah, absolutely. If there's something we might have missed.
Yeah, if it can make my day easier or make it easier to get paid online, then...
Getting paid!
I'm all ears.
Yes. Well, this has been episode 9.
Hey, Seth.
Yo.
Later, buddy.
Later, man. Good talk.